The talking point for this video and this game is really, really easy. Northwestern, hire David Braun right meow.
From LA to Piscataway, all Big Ten all year long. This is Big Ten 10.
What else do you need to see? The job that David Braun has done in an interim status. He walked onto campus in Evanston, Illinois in January as a first-time FBS coach at any level, position coach, assistant coach, head coach at any level. And then you fast forward to the summer, the late summer, and he's the interim coach. And what he's done, 5 wins. They could lose both games. They could lose to Purdue and they could lose to Illinois. But what he's done connecting with these kids within these programs, getting them to play the way they have played, getting them to win the way that they have won so far this season, hire him now. Because if you let this go to a search and you let David Braun outside of your grasp, I don't know if you're going to bring a better coach to Northwestern. Okay, like when you look at some of the better coaches out there for hire, I say this with all due respect, but they're not coming to Northwestern. David Braun has established something so far in his year as the interim head coach at Northwestern. He has kept kids in Evanston when they had every opportunity to leave. He's kept them there, and he has established that culture. One could say continued the culture that Pat Fitzgerald had in terms of winning on the field and exceeding expectations on the field for the Northwestern Wildcats. Northwestern, you're not going to go out and get the best, second best, third best, fourth best head coaching hire in this cycle if you go outside. You need to tell David Braun, the job that you've done, David, has been exceptional. And you have clearly taken hold of this program and clearly have made a connection. They need to make David Braun the head coach yesterday, all right? But this win over Wisconsin, especially on the road, breaking that losing streak on the road, huge for the Wildcats. Let's keep the future going. Hire David Braun now. Write up the contract. Have it on his desk in the locker room. Do what you need to do. All right, this was the battle of the returning quarterbacks. Ben Bryant returning from injury and Tanner Mordecai returning from injury. Who was going to have the better day? Now, both of these quarterbacks, I thought, played pretty well within this game. But early on, especially in that first half, Ben Bryant was slinging it. They were moving the ball up and down the field. Northwestern was doing anything they wanted. When you look at it from the flip side, we've seen teams, now maybe earlier in the season, but we've seen teams move the ball like this on Wisconsin. You flash back to that Georgia Southern game where the Eagles were able to move the ball a little bit on the Wisconsin Badgers. This is a Wisconsin defense, folks. Boy, this did not look good. Look, I know they did better in the second half, and I think almost the Northwestern play calling got a little bit more conservative. They kind of played with the lead a little bit there in the second half and maybe didn't take as many chances as they did in the first half. But boy, is this concerning for the Wisconsin Badgers right now. Just the amount of chunk plays, how maybe there wasn't a ton of pressure. Ben was kind of able to decipher the coverage and throw it, pick apart spots within the zone. Like, he was able to do so many things within this offense, throwing the ball. Wisconsin is going to need some sort of makeover on defense. Really, this whole program, I think, needs to get more ficalized, so to speak, because they are transitioning between two polar opposites, really, in terms of schemes, both on offense and on defense, and this has maybe been more of a transitional year than Badger fans definitely would have liked so far this season. Let's talk about Wisconsin and their offense. Let's talk about Tanner Mordecai. He comes back, and I thought he was fairly effective. Okay, but this is a double-edged sword kind of a situation. Tanner did pretty well in the short passing game. In fact, he did really well in the short passing game. By short, I mean everything except for the deep ball. Northwestern was saying you can have 10, you can even have 15. You're not going to get 30, you're not going to get 40, you're not even going to get 25. We're going to keep everything in front of us and not let you beat you deep. That's what Northwestern was willing to say in this game. Will Pauling, CJ Williams, etc. You can have your short, you can have your dink and dunk all day long. We're going to keep you in front of you. However you say that. I'm tripping over my words trying to say that phrase. But you get the general idea in terms of that. Yards, but not points for the Wisconsin offense. You got to give credit to David Braun and Northwestern doing that. And they didn't have we know that the run game, right? Without Ches Malusi, without Braylon Allen, you're down to Aker, you're down to Cade Yakamele in this run game. That's not a threat, right? When defenses take on Wisconsin now, your game planning for the Badgers a lot different than you did, the past 30 years, right? The transition has not been smooth. The transition has not been simple. Injuries play into that, of course, for Wisconsin. Lots of gaps throughout this Wisconsin team on offense and on defense. We got to talk about their bowl streak, right? They've made it for 2 decades plus consecutively, made it to a bowl game. They play Nebraska next week. Don't think that's a guaranteed game, even despite the way the Huskers continue to turn the football over. And then Minnesota, look, yes, they could win both of those games, but there are scenarios where they could lose both of those games as well and finish 5-7. You need to find a way to get that 6th win, Badger fans. You need to find a way to grind through and possibly beat Nebraska and beat Minnesota here in these last 2 games of the season. And when you talk about bowls, just imagine we talk about the progression Northwestern has made so far this season. What if they make a bowl game? What if they get that extra 2 weeks? What if they get that extra 3 weeks of bowl prep and bowl practice? That is huge from a developmental standpoint. When you want to continue to develop those players within your program, for the sophomores going into juniors, for the freshmen going into sophomores, players that maybe are second teamers and third teamers, but are going to be starters next season, having those extra weeks of practice, and then you're going to see players opt out, and they might even see game reps. That is huge when you are trying to build a program like David Braun is right now. Getting that 6th win, playing Purdue and playing Illinois. Your better chance is probably this upcoming week against the Purdue Boilermakers. But I think Northwestern can do it. I want to hear what you guys think about this Northwestern-Wisconsin. How much do you think the sky is falling right now in Madison? And what about Northwestern? Do you think David Braun should be the permanent head coach going forward? Leave your thoughts in the comments below about all things Purple Cats and Red Badgers. I'm Big Ten Ted. We will see you in the next one.
Thanks for watching Big Ten Ted, where it's all Big Ten all year long. Make sure to like the video to spread the word of Big Ten Ted to the masses, and subscribe to the channel for updates on Big Ten content that drops every day.